Hello, viewers. It's Matt and Christian here of Bros Talking Soccer. Welcome. And we're about to hop right into this immediately. If you're wondering where Dave is, he is in Fiji currently. So
this is more than.
Welcome. Oh, there I am. There I am again. Yep. There it was. Okay.
Also, Fiji is more than just a bottle of water.
Oh, wow.
Fact.
You learn something new every day here on
Scientifically proven.
Wow. Okay, well, Dave also jumped off a waterfall. So, I mean, that happened in Fiji. So everything has to do with water
At least
when it comes to Fiji.
Bottle it.
Oh, little soccer joke there. I guess it's not really soccer, but it's used a lot in soccer.
Tottenham'd it.
There you go. Soccer. Yeah, that's true.
All right.
So I hope you enjoy that little punny part of the show. Yeah, I think we're ready to hop right in, Matt. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. This is going to be chaos. There's no Dave here to control it. So it's the young guns running the show here. And here we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bros Talking Soccer, episode 116. I'm here with my brother Matt today. I'm Christian, by the way. And there's no Dave today. He is in Fiji. So don't even worry about it. It's about to be the most chaotic show we probably have ever had. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So, Matt, how you doing today?
Doing good. Yeah, I had a good day. I went to Philly earlier in the day with my parents and girlfriend. Went to see the Yards Brewing factory, and it was very nice. And then I went to the Sixers game tonight, so very much in the city. It was a great day. How was your day, Christian?
It was great, Matt. I just worked, and then I
stayed home.
Then I didn't. I didn't stay home. I had soccer practice, and
wow.
Yeah, we're missing the CONCACAF Champions League games right now, which is a bummer. But, we're doing this, which is just great.
Soccer-related, Man City, team I support, won 7-0 today. That's a good result for you that don't know.
That's a whole touchdown.
Yeah.
Plus an extra point. So, Matt, I'll hand it over. Oh, no, I should probably do the trivia question first, right?
Yeah.
Probably. Makes sense.
Go ahead.
All right. So, trivia question this week is, who is the top Premier League scorer if penalties are removed for this season? Okay, so think on that, and I'm going to hand it over to Matt for Matt's Megs.
Thank you, Christian. Welcome to Matt's Megs. Today we'll start talking about American news. So, Sporting Kansas City have just signed center midfielder Gedion Zelalem. Pronounced differently. I think it's Zelalem. He is a 21, 22-year-old center midfielder, American. He was playing with the U20s, I want to say. He was at the World Cup that was 2 years ago, and he tore his ACL. He was very promising center mid. He was at Arsenal at 16, went through a couple loan spells, couldn't really break through. Had a lot of talent, but I'll start with, Christian, I'll start with you.
Well, thanks.
I guess I started with myself, but I'll go to you. What do you think about Sporting Kansas City and getting Gedion?
Well, do you want me to say what I think of Sporting Kansas City, or do you want me to say
no. I mean, you could start with Sporting Kansas City.
Oh, yeah, well, fuck that team. So I'm not a big fan of the team. I think that they've had not a great reputation against the Union, so I take it a little personally, but I think this is a huge pickup for them. I think they're already a pretty solid team. They are competing in the CONCACAF Champions League, and now they have a roster that probably can rival in MLS, and I think that they're going to make a real shot at MLS Cup this year now. They really have a deep squad and are full of talent, but not really world beaters type of talent, but just depth and really, really good players in each position on the field now.
Yeah. So I think Sporting is going to be, like you said, a top team. I think they have the talent. They have some depth. They are... they're good. They, beat the Union last week without them. But yeah. So I'm a huge fan of his. So when I was growing up playing soccer, he was playing in the same region as me, and we would often be at the same tournament. So everyone my age, he played up in age group to play with my age, and he played for the #1 team, who I don't think they lost a tournament for 2 years, and he was by far the best player. So he was kind of this guy that every single person my age in that soccer world knew, and we all looked up to him, and he was younger, and it was just crazy. So for me, he was my superstar for my age, and it's just crazy to see him kind of come back to the MLS. And when he went to Arsenal at 16, it was it was crazy. I had the highest expectations for him. It was like when Pulisic burst onto the scene. In my head, it was like, this guy is going to be the best.
He's also from the area.
Yeah, also from the area. But it was like he burst onto the scene and he was going to be, the best American soccer player ever, which, to this point, it hasn't worked out that way. But I am still hopeful. I wish him the best. Considering the national team that was called up today, I think he provides something in the midfield that a lot of these midfielders don't. We have a whole lot of holding mids that we just brought up. Not too happy about that. Different topic. I don't think we'll touch on that today.
Nope.
But I think going forward, hopefully he can get back into form and become the player he was supposed to be.
Yeah, I think we all hope that, and we definitely need a player of more creative type through the midfield that he provides. And I think he was almost an understudy for Ozil when he was at Arsenal, and he never was going to break through, but he kind of is a similar player in that regard that we kind of need at the U.S. level. And I think that the plan is to play Pulisic there for now. So I don't know if he really will break through and be the star in that position. But Pulisic, I think, ideally is going to be in a wide position. And if we have another creative type of player in behind the striker, this could be it. And I hope that he really does break through and shows the potential that he had as a teenager.
I'm just thinking about the future. If we had a Gedion, Adams, and McKennie center mid pairing, like those three, that could have been great. If they all stayed healthy.
Could still be.
It still could be.
They're all, max 21, 22?
Yeah, I think Gedion would probably be the oldest at this point, 21, 22.
Yeah, so the future still looks bright for the U.S., and unfortunately for Kansas City this year, it looks pretty bright.
Sorry, as we're talking about the future, I just remembered Tim Weah didn't get called up this one, so maybe we won't go for the future. Let's bring up a bunch of MLS players.
Weah, you got Sargent as our next line of strikers. Yeah. We got Pulisic.
I understand they haven't been. I mean, neither of them. I mean, Weah is getting game time, but I don't think he's been starting too often at Celtic.
But he's been scoring.
Yeah, I know, but I think they probably want people that are playing, and MLS, it might be good for them to get into form. They're just getting into shape. Maybe it would be good for them. So I understand it. But me looking for the future and considering what happened a couple of years ago with the World Cup and what's been going on with the youth teams, I just kind of wanted to see, the young guys kind of break through.
Yeah. So to go back on what Matt said earlier, that we're not going to touch on this, I guess we are going to touch on the roster choices.
Well, I mean, other than those two.
Okay.
No, we're done. Done with U.S. men's national. Done with you. Is it already fire?
Yeah.
For Halter?
Yeah. Definitely.
Already that time. All right. You have anything else to add?
Nope.
All right. So moving on to, actually, staying in American soccer and moving down to the NCAA. I'm sure some of you have heard about this. If not, NCAA, which is like the collegiate, for anybody overseas that doesn't know what it is, collegiate sports organization for us. And, I guess it's not sports, it's all school, right?
Athletic.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
National Collegiate Athletic Association.
There was a lot of bribery going on to get students into schools they were not accepted to, which it was a lot of money. One of the Aunt Becky from Full House. What's your name?
Lori. In real life?
Lori,
yeah. I forget.
Lori Loughlin.
Yeah,
Lori Loughlin.
It's something like that.
Okay.
Let me look.
Yeah, she got in trouble. She's on the list. Apparently paying $500,000 for, I think, her daughters to be like rowing at USC. And it's soccer related. The Yale's women's soccer coach took a bribe for $1.2 million, or the total was $1.2 million. The coach got to keep $400,000 of that money to accept a student that didn't even play soccer to Yale, because that's just, the prestige of going to Yale. Christian, what do you think about the NCAA sports? And are you surprised that people are bribing to get their way into these high schools?
Absolutely not surprised at all whatsoever. I think that this is something that's been known for a long time, and nothing ever has really broken out like this. As I guess there's proof now, and they're giving actual facts and numbers. But in the past, Like it just has been kind of known and swept under the rug. I think that people have been taking bribes and accepting people who don't have the credentials to get in for a really long time. And especially with these Ivy League schools, it's so difficult to get into. I'm not surprised. And I feel like a lot of the students that go there, and obviously this is not all, but a lot of them come from wealthier families, and you see that like they have the opportunity to bribe and like to get them in if they want to get in, or they're like alumni and they sway their power a little bit that way. It's not really good, and I don't think it's fair to everybody else that you can bribe and just get your way into just any school that you really want to. But it really is not surprising to me at all.
Yeah. So I agree with it not being surprising. Like this is something I know. Like so, yeah. Like Division I sports, it's like kind of viewed as like this like glory organization,
Best, best athletes,
best athletes, things like that. It as I've like gone through and like kind of seen like what's happened with that. It's like you kind of see what kind of kids get there. It's mainly pay to play, especially in the soccer. It's kind of like who you know to get at that level. And the NCAA, I've made this determination is kind of like a joke at this point for the development of American soccer. It's basically just something that it's going to slow the players down. This is just how I view it.
No, absolutely agree.
It's just going to hurt the players. The development's not good. It's just not a good organization. But I don't know if I have a problem with the bribery, considering it's to get into a school. Like it's like if you're getting a service from it. If you're making donations, I feel like isn't that the same thing as making donations? Like to get someone, if you're paying $1 million, why can't you go to Yale? You know what I mean? Like
because you're supposed to get in on your credentials. You're not supposed to just pay your way to get into wherever you want to go.
Okay.
Like the point of applying to schools is to get in, not like, oh, I got rejected. Now, mommy, daddy, please help me, get me, just like pay $1 million to get me in.
Yeah.
Like you're already paying so much money to go to school. There's no reason to just go above and beyond for that. Like no matter where you go to school, you have the potential to make your way, your way in life, and you can fight your way through another avenue. And I just think it's unfair to just bribe your way to get into a specific school.
Yeah. Okay. So before this story broke out, the Yale's women's coach did resign, I think in November. And this is, I don't know if they knew the story was going to break, but I think it came into light today. I'm pretty sure it was all over the news. What ramifications will it have on the NCAA in general? Do you think like it'll affect the sports? Do you think it will, hurt the game of soccer in America for like that age group, or do you think it'll help it and push kids maybe towards the minor leagues or the lower divisions? I don't know why I said minor leagues, towards the lower divisions at a younger age instead of going through the college kind of experience.
Well, I'm really, really hoping that you don't have to go to college, specifically with soccer. I think that it's most important to be playing and training at a professional level at that 16 to 18 range. And I mean, that's where you should be starting to play at the professional level. I understand that they're going to college to play with a lot more players who are kind of around their level, or I guess around their age. It doesn't technically mean that they're at the same level, and you're going to get a lot of game time if you're training to be a professional. It's similar to what Jordan Morris did. He trained with the Sounders, went to college. Was he UCLA, Stanford? One of the two.
Jordan Morris, Stanford.
Okay. And then he went back to the Sounders, and it's an interesting thing that I don't think other countries will understand because they don't really experience that. Okay. But it just doesn't make sense to me that these top level players, and it makes sense why Pulisic went overseas and why a lot of these younger players are now. You should not have to play in college, and you don't with soccer, right? No. You don't, but in other sports, you're forced to. And I don't really think that's fair. I think it does help in your development with certain sports, but with soccer, it's more important to be playing against other professionals and really training at a high level, which college can't provide. It's just specifically with soccer, their budget isn't there. So they really need to just kind of, I don't think that this specific situation is going to have much of an impact, but I hope it just deters people from going to college because, let me go to college, kids. Yeah. I hope it deters people from feeling pressure at an athletic standpoint on going to
Yeah.
college, because if you're going to go for the education. Definitely 100%. This should only be a secondary option. And if you think you're going to make it as a professional, if you're already on a team in a youth academy, definitely stick it out there if you want to have a career in soccer.
I think, but the problem is at 18, you're no longer kind of part of that academy. And then that's when they have the choice. That's when you have the choice. You're probably not going to get called up to a senior team. Well, at 18, you have to make that choice and you realize I have to do something else. So I think, if you're serious about, going professional in soccer, just, do it.
Because, even if you're not going to break through, you're training at the highest level, you're going to make breakthrough somewhere.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah. But we did learn, one of the guys we were playing soccer with yesterday, he's playing college soccer. He was saying, like, how the summers they play in the USL too. They come back for their summers, and it's pretty much all college soccer guys. So I don't know for the other USL 2 teams, do you know if they practice year round, or because he said like most of the players are playing at their schools anyway. So do you think it's just a summer league?
Yes, most of those divisions are only in the summer.
Okay, but the USL 1, which is the
USL 1 is definitely not. I don't know if it's the same with all of the divisions, but I know USL 1 is definitely year round. Like it follows the MLS schedule a little bit more. The rest of the divisions, I'm pretty sure, have a lot more college kids and like players trying to break through. So they're only there in the summertime. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% on that though.
We really got to figure this out. Like the system to bring these kids through.
They should really just have all of the leagues follow the same structure too, so it's easy to follow.
Yeah. And like today, Phil Foden scores for City, and it's like he's like the youngest. He's 18, and it's like he's scoring in the Champions League knockout round. Like 18 here, like he was able to go through the academy and kind of wait it out, and he's still learning. It's not like he was pressured into that first team. It's like he's still like learning at that age, and it's like we don't have a system. I know they've been doing this for so much longer, and they kind of have the budget to support it, and the fandom and things like that. But it's just so hard to compete for American soccer when we don't have a league that can support players like that.
Yep, I agree with you.
All right. Sweet. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right. Do you want to do the stadium scene plug? We're not taking a little musical break today because Dave, our lazy brother, who doesn't even want to join the podcast, goes on vacation. Doesn't even want to edit as much as possible.
It's supposed to be his podcast, man. It's crazy.
Exactly. So no music. So check out. No, you start it. You start the stadium.
Are you sure there's not going to be music?
Yeah, Dave said.
Okay.
No breaks.
Okay.
No breaks.
No breaks. Sure. So check out our friends over at stadiumscene.tv. They have information about any stadium in the US or Canada. If you're traveling for any sport, check them out, and you can find out about restaurants in the area, where to park, what to do around the stadium. Just all these different events around the stadium and in the cities that you might be visiting. So check them out at stadiumscene.tv. Matt, what else do they do?
They also partner with content creators like ourselves and offer you things like blogs, podcasts, YouTube videos, all that fun stuff. It's not just soccer. It's all sports, North America, US, Canada. Again, check them out at stadiumscene.tv. All right.
Cool. So I guess I'll take back over here and we'll hop into Christian's Corner. And we're going to have no Dave's Dives today. So this is the final section before we wrap it up. I have 3 topics today I would like to discuss. And Matt, let's start with, I think, the one that's furthest back at this point, the Germany decision from Jogi Loew. He decided that he is no longer going to be calling up some of the older players, older meaning only 30 years old, which is pretty ridiculous. Mats Hummels, Jerome Boateng, and Thomas Mueller. Can you believe this decision? What do you think of this? And do you think it's the right decision moving forward?
I understand this decision because of Germany's World Cup. And I had no idea they were all that young. I could have sworn this generation has been around for freaking ever.
Yeah.
I thought they were in their 30s, and then I was surprised that I think Muller's 28 or 29.
Yeah, he's definitely not 30.
Yeah.
And I think Hummels might only be 29.
And Boateng's 30. So I was surprised with just how young they were. But I mean, considering that World Cup, like that was a catastrophe. I mean, I'm sure they're probably taking that kind of like how US didn't qualify. I think that was probably equivalent for them.
Oh boy.
Well, that was the only time they've ever been
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, and so I think they do have to take drastic measures. It's like when people say like Altidore shouldn't be called back or Bradley, things like that. It's just move on from that generation. So I understand it from that standpoint, and they haven't been exactly on top of their game. I think they do have some younger players, but I this new generation for them, I'm not sure if they'll be able to kind of replicate what that last generation did.
Yeah, I just can't understand his decision here. I think they still have a huge role to play. Jerome Boateng, I think, is a little bit overrated at this point. He's clearly lost his step, and he just doesn't look like the same player that he once was. Mats Hummels is still one of the best center backs in the world. I just can't believe that they're cutting him out already. Nicolas Sula is very, very good, and he's ready to step into that spot. But I think Hummels is clearly the second choice, or he should probably be the first choice next to him. No?
Sula won.
What? Okay. Well, they're one. They're
Okay.
one together. So that should be the back line, and with Kimmich, and I have no idea. Their left back situation is a mess, but that's a whole other story. I think that those players, and he didn't take Neuer out though, who I didn't think was having the best tournament there either.
Yeah, but,
with Ter Stegen being what he is now, I think he's probably the number one goalkeeper for Germany, and Neuer has been the number one goalkeeper in the world for many, many years, but he's not anymore. And I'm surprised he didn't get on the chopping block the same way. Loew said he's sticking with him, and that's surprising to me. But I understand that their defense just fell apart, but I think that's more on the coaching and the system that they set up at the World Cup than anything. And I don't really blame the individual players for how badly they did. They failed as a team. And if you're going to cut all those players, you got to think about players like Kroos and those types of guys too. But that doesn't make any sense because Kroos is still one of the best midfielders in the world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to just get rid of everybody that didn't.
No, everybody or nobody.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, some of the guys, obviously, they had a bad tournament, but they will be better. Kroos has had a kind of a rough year.
Yes, he has.
Yeah. He's had a really rough year. Things turned around
since the
very,
World Cup.
very fast.
Since that Sweden goal.
Yeah. That's been interesting for him. But it would be tough to see like a player like him who was so important for so long kind of just go away. I mean, Ozil retired on his own a couple months or right after the World Cup.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a natural transition period, but I don't think this next generation is gonna I can't think of the players that can fill those shoes.
The defense
or any of them.
Mueller, I think that
going forward. I mean, their midfield, their strikers, what of their younger generation is going to be able to?
Well, Werner is definitely going to step in and be the striker. I think Sane and Royce are definitely ready.
Red Bull, Werner?
Yeah. What?
I thought he was having a bad season. Maybe he wasn't in the beginning.
No. He's still clearly, I think, the best striker that Germany has, and up there with Mueller. But I think that, Sane and Royce are perfectly fine to fill in on the wings. And they put Mueller out on the wing for some reason in Germany, and he has no business being there. I think he plays almost like a second striker, and that's where he should be playing. But with no Ozil and no Mueller now, I just think that it's a big mistake from Germany to cut these players who still have a lot to offer going forward. Mueller could be the top scorer in World Cup history after the next tournament or two. I know, but he could. Well, who knows if Loew is going to make it 3 more years at this point, cutting the best players that they have.
That's true.
Yeah, he can easily break back into the team if they. I just don't know how Jurgen Loew is still even at the national level. He has no business being there after what happened.
I can't believe he didn't bring Sane after the year he had, and he brought nobody with pace on the wings.
They had 0 pace in the whole team.
Werner up top, but that's it.
Did he start?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, after that, it was I can't believe they didn't bring Sane. And speaking of, 3 assists in the knockout stage today. First time since 2012, Frank Ribery.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, cool. So, a player like that, he's got to make the World Cup roster.
You would think.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, maybe in 3 years.
Yeah.
All right. Matt, anything else to add on this topic?
Nah.
All right, we'll move on to our next topic, which is a crazy event that happened was Saturday, right? Or was it Sunday? It was Sunday with the Jack Grealish attack.
Sunday morning.
So Sunday morning, Birmingham City was playing against Aston Villa. A Birmingham City fan stormed the field. The stewards did not get to him in time. He punched Jack Grealish in the face. The guy fell to the floor, not Grealish. The other guy did. I don't remember what happened. Did he? I don't think he fell.
No, Grealish
did
fell.
he? Yeah. Okay. Well, he held his face for a little bit and was up.
Yeah.
And I didn't
That was when he was
remember
walking around. Yeah.
Okay. So then I don't know if he got pushed over. I think that's probably what happened to the what are we calling him? He's not a streaker. He's a
invader, pitch invader.
Pitch invader, I guess. Yeah. Sounds like a fun game. You can play in the arcade. All right. So pitch invader. Yeah. All right. So he ran on the field and hits him, falls to the floor because he gets pushed over. I think this guy is very, very lucky. He did not get just beaten the shit out of by the other players on the field. I think this is a serious concern going forward that they really have to be aware of. I think Birmingham City are going to be facing a hefty fine, and they're talking about a point reduction. It could be a very severe penalty coming Birmingham City's way. Matt, I'll start with you. Obviously, we're gonna we're gonna blame the fan mostly here, but who else is responsible, do you think, for keeping this under control?
It's hard to put blame on people because at some point, you have to take responsibility for your actions. It's almost impossible to contain, all those people with, the security that they have. I know they check. I'm not sure about in the championship, but I know when you go to Premier League matches, they check your bag, make sure you don't have any weapons. Thankfully, this guy had no weapons. He could have invaded the pitch with weapons, which would have been a serious problem. But luckily he didn't. So I know they have some sort of security in that respect. But I think it's so hard to blame the club for what happened because I don't think the club wanted this to necessarily happen. Obviously they didn't want this to happen. It's not like the fans really supported it, but they just need to stop, glorifying people that run onto the pitch and clap them off or things like that. And it's why do you punch? Yeah, it's why are you supporting somebody that's running on and punching a professional athlete?
Yeah, it makes no sense, and it didn't really seem like their own fans were. That's very delayed. Their own fans were really supporting this guy. And I'm so happy Jack Grealish scored the game winner too. That is just justice being served. Late on, he scored the goal that beat Birmingham City. And Aston Villa are a team that a lot of people know. They were in the Premier League for a really long time. We're really competitive. And what do you think has to happen to Birmingham City at this point? Do you think it's on the club to face the fines, or
obviously you pay a fine for allowing that to happen, and I think maybe a little bit of time with no fans, but I think point reduction. For me, I don't like
that. Can be absolutely devastating.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think that's appropriate considering it's one fan. Like last year when I know West Ham fans didn't go out punching people, but they did try to fight Mark Noble, their captain, their own captain. They have fans planting the corner flag at midfield. I don't think they had a point reduction, right?
They did not.
And they didn't lose fans or anything. I assume they paid a lot of fines.
Yeah, they had big fines.
But I don't think this is much worse on the club as that was. As a reflection of Birmingham, this was fans attacking their own club at their own stadium where it was multiple. This is just one fan, and it sucks that he got to him, but it's just horrible to see.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to disagree with you on this one. I think the club has to pay a fine, and well, no, they're going to have to pay a fine and be heavily penalized. And I can understand a point reduction here only because it will really deter people from doing this in the future. A penalty really has to be brought down hard because if this continues to happen, it could get really severe. I think players could have really hurt this guy. The guy's serving 14 weeks in jail now, which might not even be enough. I think this is ridiculous. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And I think that I lost my train of thought a little bit, but I think they have to come down hard on this club. They can't have this happening because if this guy had a knife, this could be a completely different story that just is terrifying and horrible. So they have to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about netting and walls around the field, but I know they have that in certain countries. Like the glass walls, almost like hockey.
No, it might take. I mean, the net, it wouldn't take away too much from the atmosphere in that way that players couldn't really interact with the fans. That's actually an interesting thing I never really thought of. At first I thought it would take away from the atmosphere, but if it's just netting, like I don't see a problem with that.
Okay, so that is one solution. We're solving the world's problems over here.
It would be annoying to see kind of through it though.
Yeah, but I think Bayern has that behind both of their goals. Like it is already around.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Anything else you have to add on this topic?
No.
Okay. So my last topic here is going to be about Zinedine Zidane returning to Real Madrid. So he's back. He left in June, probably, I think is when he retired.
May, whenever the
I think it was June.
Yeah.
So he won 3 Champions Leagues in a row as coach of Real Madrid. He stepped down. Lopetegui, I think was his name.
Lopetegui.
Yeah. Stepped in and was the coach for about 2 weeks, it seemed like. It was actually a couple months, but he did not do well after also getting fired on the eve of the World Cup. And Solari did not do much better with Real Madrid. This team has way too much quality to be as bad as they are. I know they lost Ronaldo. I know they're the oldest team in La Liga, but come on. They have been so badly underperforming. I am going to start by saying I think this is a horrible, horrible decision by Zidane, and I think this is going to hurt his legacy. He had such a good run-in, and all this is going to do is be coaching a worse team right now that really has nothing to fight for at this point. Matt, what do you think about this hire and Zidane's decision to come back?
I think it's genius by him. He's going to have a crazy transfer budget this summer. He's already talking about like the names he wants to bring in, which I assume he'll get at least 50% of them. The team's going to be much different next year. As a manager, he's never not won the Champions League, right? He's won the Champions League every single time he's competed. So I don't think it...
Not this time.
Yeah, well, he's not competing, so he's still undefeated. So it's tough to kind of say his legacy is going to be hurt because at this point, it's kind of perfect. So yeah, I think he is a top 3 manager. Considering you say like the team he had, but he came into a team that was really struggling under Rafa Benitez. He replaced Benitez, right?
Yeah.
When Madrid came, it was really struggling there then, and I think he came in and turned the team around very fast. I think they were in like 4th or 5th when he took over it the first time. And now he's coming into a similar situation where the team's all torn apart. And I think people are kind of overlooking that and just saying just because Ronaldo's gone, they can't compete. I was saying that, holy crap. First of all, sidetrack. Ronaldo came back kind of by himself today. Not by himself, but 3 goals. It's crazy what he does. So they are missing that. But I think Zidane will figure it out without him and, replace him with someone like a Hazard and kind of figure out the back line again and maybe start playing Marcelo, who's probably the best left back in the world, and maybe Isco, who might be the best attacking mid in the world. Maybe just start by playing your best players. I don't know, Real Madrid. Maybe he'll think about that.
Yeah, I think this is going to hurt Bale. I think Bale is going to kind of get dropped out again. Zidane really didn't love playing Bale back then, and I think Asensio is going to break through again. He's not had the best season so far, but Zidane got the best out of him before, and he's one of Spain's brightest young talents. Isco is Spain's probably best player, and he hasn't played all year long, and it just blows my mind that happened. I really thought he was going to transfer at the end of the year, but with Zidane staying, I think it'll make a big difference. Ramos and Marcelo both said they were out the door this summer, and I wonder if this is going to change their mind that he's back.
Marcelo already signed a contract, right?
No.
He didn't?
It's not official, no. It looks like he still might go to Juventus, but I think Marcelo might stay now that Zidane's back, and he's probably going to step in and be the starting left back again for the club. But in my opinion, I don't think this makes sense for Zidane. I think he could have challenged himself at another league. I think United fans are devastated because I think they thought they had an opportunity to get him in the summer, even though
I swore he was going there.
Yeah, but
Ollie,
I mean, Ollie's doing all right. Not
all right. He's doing great there, considering what they just went through.
I guess.
You guess he just Beat PSG without Pogba on the road.
Eh,
What has he lost? One game?
I don't know. I don't care about them. They're terrible. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. No, he lost 2 games. He lost to PSG too, and Arsenal. But yeah. I don't think that this makes it makes sense from a Madrid standpoint, but from Zidane's standpoint, I don't think that it made sense for him to come back at this moment, like immediately after he just left.
Yeah, well, I think it was kind of like a human aspect of this because Zidane was saying how much he loves the club. I mean, what he's accomplished there when they come calling and they're saying like we need you. It's tough to say when he's not working right now. It's tough to say no when you can clearly tell things aren't going well. So I think it was kind of him just, maybe he missed it. Maybe he thinks he owes something to the club. Or maybe he's just doing it out of the goodness of his heart. But I think I pretty much understand where he's coming from and why he would join. I think it is the right move for the club. Maybe he can have a Sir Alex legacy and maybe stay there for 20 plus years, and maybe that's his whole career.
Maybe.
I feel like if he was going to leave, like the opportunity already passed. Like, you know what I mean? Like that was the time to leave. Like, why are you coming back? And what the culture is. So he knows the pressures he's under when he goes there. So I think he understands and he's kind of accepting it. And I think Real Madrid also knows, or Perez, that's the thing, right? The president also knows, like, we can't get rid of this guy right away. We've tried, and the last 10 managers we've been through have all been sacked pretty quickly, other than him.
Yeah, that's true. Anything else you want to add on this topic?
No.
Okay, so that'll wrap up Christian's Corner, and we'll head over to the trivia question one more time. The trivia question this week was, who is the Premier League's top scorer if you remove penalties this season? Matt, who do you think it is?
Raheem Sterling.
That was so close. It was within 1. Sadio Mane is the Premier League top scorer without penalties. He has 16. Raheem Sterling has 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that? Because Sterling scored 3 this weekend. Mane had 2. I thought Sterling passed him, but he did not.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll wrap it up here. Thanks for stopping by with Bros Talking Soccer. It's been great talking to you guys. I see we had a couple of comments, so I'll address them here. Matt, thank you for telling us Weah and Sargent are playing with the U20s and U23s this week. That is good information that we did not realize. Yeah, so thanks, everybody.
Also, we agree nobody needs Dave.
That is the most important comment that I'm sorry I just jumped over there. Yeah, so hope you enjoyed Matt and Christian's podcast today. Yeah. It was a blast, Matt. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me on your show, Christian.
Yeah, okay. We're not starting that now. Hopefully we have Dave back next week. I actually have no idea what his schedule is. I don't think Matt does either. No one really pays attention to Dave.
It may be us next week. It may not be. Expect the interview coming out with Christian Sandler this week.
Tomorrow. I will be interviewing Christian Sandler live, and I think that'll be coming out on Thursday in podcast form.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions for him, let us know on Twitter at
BT Soccer Pod.
Or check us out on our website. Matt, would you like to tell them about the website?
Yeah. So the website is brostalkingsoccer.com. You can find out about us, find past podcasts, videos, things like that. Good site. Check it out. Oh, you can also go to the Amazon store link and purchase things through Amazon with no extra charge to you. We just get a small percentage of it. Really help us monetize the show. So please use that through brostalkingsoccer.com. Thanks.
We also have a Slack universe that we are using. And if you want to get involved, you can tweet at us at Bros Talking Soccer. Nope, it's BT Soccer Pod, isn't it? Yeah, it's at BT Soccer Pod. I lied. Or you can email us at brostalkingsoccer@gmail.com. And we will get you involved. It's got a bunch of different channels, and we got different topics like the Premier League, all the top 5 European leagues, Champions League, transfer rumors, all good stuff related to soccer. And we have a general channel where you can talk about anything you want. You get to talk to us. You get to talk to everyone else who is a fan of our show, and it's great having everybody in there. Anything else you think you want to add, Matt?
No.
All right. So thanks for being here. Thanks everyone for listening. And this was episode 116. Have a great week, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks everyone watching on YouTube. It is great having you here. And I will be back tomorrow interviewing Christian Sandler live, and we'll have that podcast out for you soon. See you guys.